McWilliams Jr. I thought I would get like a couple paragraphs deep. There's always a thought you have as a younger brother. It's this insane idea that one day, just one day, you won't be your older brother's punching bag anymore. And adversely, you will somehow stop being so annoying to him. You'll grow up, and so will he. You become good friends, and you become great friends. You get past the macho adolescence, and you'll be able to tell one another you love each other. You'll watch each other grow old. You'll start families, you'll fall in love, stay up late talking and drinking good whiskey. Stay up really late, still drinking whiskey. You'll be the friends to him that you always wanted, and vice versa. But somewhere in that forest, where all those ideas come to be, we forget that there is this ardent reality that exists. The thing that reminds us that nothing ever really truly goes as planned. We often equate this feeling with disappointment, however, we are always surprised. Somehow, when we realize that we're going to make it, and somehow, but that everything, let me back up. Somehow, when we realize that we're going to make it, only that, but that everything we ever hoped for isn't lost. So we buy a different magazine because the one we wanted at the store is sold out, or we go for a walk instead because we left our running shoes in the car. I turned 27 this year. This year I am the same age as my brother. This is one of those things. I saw a close friend of Tim's I hadn't seen in a while just a week or so ago. And she told me it was hard at times to talk to me because there were these things, facial expressions or things that I did or things that I said that reminded me of him. This was the greatest compliment that I could ever receive. Some of you knew Tim, and some of you didn't. And some of us thought we did. He was old-fashioned, he was blue-collar, but more than that, he was a true fingerprint. Just like all of us, he had flaws, and just like all of us, he had things about him that drove his friends and family a little crazy at times. I would never call him stubborn, though, because he always seemed to exude this confidence that he knew what he wanted, and that was it. Yeah, he wasn't outwardly vulnerable very often. But when he was, we would consider it a gift. And if and when he said, "I love you," it really messed you up. It would catch you totally off guard, and you'd be in the kitchen and you'd be looking around, you know. He always seemed to know exactly where he was going. Like his infamous car rides that some of us can attest to. Mom would give us a list of errands, and you'd race to the key rack so you could be the one to drive, but somehow Tim was already 2 steps ahead of you. He had his keys, and in fact he was already in the car waiting for you. And knowing that I was already annoyed, I would get in the car and he would do this thing called a face rake. And some of his buddies from Lehigh who are here tonight, I think they might have developed that with him. But it was really simple. When somebody was just right at their boiling point, he would go over to them and you would just kind of, you open your hand up, and this is good, you guys can do this. You open your hand up and you kind of loosen your wrist and you just go, "Face rake," or something like that. It would definitely make us really angry. But somehow, you could only frustratingly laugh and maybe punch him in the leg. He'd pull out of the driveway and you were off. He somehow knew of roads in our 1 square mile town that nobody had ever been on and nobody had ever seen. And he had routes he would take you on that couldn't possibly have been the most logical or efficient way to get where you were going. But he never paused, or hit a dead end. You just drove, and eventually you got where you were going. After about the first 5 minutes of being pent up and frustrated that you were wasting time and not getting where you were going, not doing the things you had to get done, you finally relaxed. It was like, in his way, he was showing you there was something bigger than yourself. In his way, it's his way of showing you more. It was his way of telling you everything is going to be okay. You're with me now, just relax. And you would. And you would smile, and you'd hear his new favorite Stevie Ray Vaughan song 26 times before you got to Food Town. And Tim knew that it was the journey, not the destination. And that, in fact, the journey is the destination. And that it's not the place, but it's the people. He knew that all of this, was about something more. He struggled too, so don't get me wrong. We know he fought himself among other complications. But he got it, he really got it. And he always knew where he was going. All the way up until the end, he knew where he was going. And here we are. The byproduct and the result, the proof of the power and the impact that one individual can have on 600, just around there, maybe less, maybe more. And with that said, I just want to thank you guys again for coming out. And we're just going to pass the mic off to my dad real quick.